shout out to the developers of Ubisoft and Massive and their marketing team or whoever's in charge of this stuff. They hooked me up with the DLC for, Brooklyn. And this is very interesting because what I want to do today is I want to actually take us back into the nostalgia components of Tom Clancy's The Division 2, but also show you how it is represented in Tom Clancy's The Division 1. So the moment you fire up the DLC and such, I got the DLC from my main account as well too, my main PC account, and I'm probably going to go ahead and, progressively get it from my other accounts. But they were like, hey man, you want to, check this out? I was like, I mean, heck yeah, why not? I looked at the Brooklyn Bridge. The moment the DLC starts, it drops you off. And spoilers, sorry, if you don't want to be spoiled, you might want to back away now. It drops you off here and you make your way into Brooklyn. One really cool thing is you can also see such a representation when you make your way into the Division 1's own map, and you also get a hold of or get a sighting of the bridge, but I think at a much more closer view. Also, this map is already active in a sense with the Division 1 once you get to this point. Check this out. You see this police station here and their signs, stay awake, stay alert. Right? Do you see it up here? Let's go ahead and let me point to it. Do you see it? This particular sign also rears its head in the Division 2's rendition of this particular area. If I take my SVD and I scope in on this street over here, the sign is, you know what? I got to go climb up on this thing over here. It's not visible from here. Hold on. All right, here we go. That sign is also here. Stay awake, stay alert as well. And you can tell that you are close to the police precinct over here, which is an iconic piece of Tom Clancy's The Division history. Many of you may or may not know when The Division 2 was first announced, one of the very first things was there was a trailer that actually did showcase The Division 2 in this particular, perspective where you had that first mission actually take place in front of the police station. Just in case you were wondering, here is that trailer, and here's a screenshot from it that Ubisoft put out 11 years ago, where your agent or the agent that is being, depicted here makes their way with some other co-op partners, and they, land in front of the police station and all that stuff. So this also gives you kind of an idea of how The Division was received at launch, because this trailer is full-blown full texture quality. It's probably being rendered on some kind of at the time, 11 years ago, supercomputer. But then when when the Division 1 launched, it did not look like that. It looked like this. It's not bad still, but you can tell that a lot of, geometric detail, a lot of texture quality and such were already, removed. You can see that same burning police car, like literally sitting right here where they had actually put it. But the fire and the flames, they look different. It's rendered differently. Now, this is also nighttime compared to that trailer, which was in daytime. So in case you want to kind of get a perspective to see what it is that I'm depicting here for you, I'm going to go ahead and sit and cover at that, NYPD police car. Actually, if you notice, this gate is also different here. And so here's the police car right here. And there's some police officers. You can see the little sign up here and whatnot. But then you come up here, you look, there's that same sign actually. Wow, it's actually here. But you see the lighting on the, environment and such. You see that particular sign. The assets are, structured differently. They must have reduced the number of, meshes and assets in the scene to go ahead and, render that for you. You know what's crazy too is in the Division 2's Brooklyn DLC, you also get kind of a sense of what's going on. Oh, well, looky here. The mission has already kicked off for me here on the Division 1 on my game, and I already have NPCs basically, trying to mess me up and such. Hold on. Let's go ahead and switch. I'm switching this stuff, using multiple setups and displays for you guys. So beware, this might be a little awkward when it comes down to it. If you actually have, just bear with me, okay? There's a rhyme and a reason to what I'm doing here. So you jump into Brooklyn, you see the bridge, just like the bridge is already depicted, and then you got to make your way through, and then you're probably, if depending on where you are, you're gonna make your way into, that same police precinct, which is depicted as here. So I was contemplating if I should play any more of the Brooklyn, DLC, on video, but I, I'll play it. I'll give a spoiler warning. If you don't want to be spoiled, then this is probably going to be the best bet, for you to pretty much dip out. Because I want to go ahead and show kind of like, how there's a difference in the tunnel systems that you see here when it comes to Tom Clancy's The Division, 2 compared to The Division 1 and all of the above. Oops. Look at me. I just got peppered into a corner there. And the Division 1 and Division 2 are different in a sense where if you're on fire here in the Division 2, I don't remember how it works. Which one is it when you're on fire you can't shoot? Well, I can just simply test it out. Shoot. I got the game sitting right here in front of me. Let me go ahead and see what that looks like. Okay, I can shoot now. I'm not on fire. And then if I walk in here, I'm in flames. Can I shoot? I cannot shoot here in the Division 2 when I'm on under fire status, right? But in the Division 2, you can still shoot when you're under the fire status. The only difference is you can't aim. And I think the developers for this Brooklyn DLC, because they're featuring one of the, enemy factions that uses a lot of fire damage, there's a gear piece that is supposed to, and I can't remember the name, honestly, that's supposed to still give you the ability to continue to still, cook, even though, you may be under fires or burn effect. So let's go ahead and take these fools out, and then I'll probably just maybe speed run the work for you guys, and then we'll go from there. Who is this guy? Oh, look, this guy walked out of that place thinking he was like the stuff of legend, and that's that's not even the big bad guy. And you won't be able to hear any audio because I decided that muting the audio will probably be beneficial for everybody's ears in this particular time frame. So let's get down here. And I think we're going to emerge from the sewers, which will then bring us into, Brooklyn and such. And then we'll take a small look at it. And then I'll take my time to kind of walk through a few more other things as well. Just, taking a good look at the nostalgia, that the developers put in and how they've decided to assess this. Wait, hold on. There's a little bit more drama here, I think. This is my second time playing this area. Oh, here's where I emerged. This is where you emerge from the whatever. And, you get to see, Brooklyn. This is all loading. It's loading away this area. You know that, right? That's game development trick 101. And kabam, kaboom, skabrabadoom, boom, bam. Brooklyn it is. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. That Brooklyn Bridge is visible from this particular street. So the developer, I said Brooklyn Bridge, Manhattan Bridge. Whew. The developers, have been in this position where, like I said, the community has been asking them like, yo, hook us up with some of the, stuff that you guys had in your other game. This is Dumbo District is what they're calling this. And I think if my calculation is correct, it says return to, this is all scripted. It doesn't want you to veer off track just yet. Okay. It wants you to go ahead and kind of do a little bit of dramatic entrance and blah, blah, blah. Let's smoke these fools. Someone else is coming. Put the whatever on them. And then let's see how this works. All right, so like I said, the mission, this particular piece of the mission is scripted. Ideally, the Division doesn't have that kind of scripting outside of missions and specific mission runs. So this is just them wanting you to kind of, and there's a purpose to this. They want to funnel, the player somewhere specifically. And so that's where we're just going to go. And then that way I'll kind of continue my, comparisons and such. But, the difference here is that, and so this is it right here. The difference here is that you don't have, like a drone and all the really cool stuff that we have in Tom Clancy's The Division. And so this is one police plaza, 1 PP. Wow. Is transformed slightly, right? You can see that all of the elements that you had in The Division 1, right, well, not all the elements, but a good number of the elements that you had in the Division 1 are still present here. Let's go ahead and kind of position in ourselves in the same place. You notice that there's a difference in terms of like scale, because the Division 1 was not built to scale. It was built as a one-to-one representation nonetheless, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't built to scale overall, but it did represent, everything that they were showing. So here we are. The game brings us full circle to both the, same area in the Division 2 and the Division 1, and you can see, one of them is a nighttime in snow, the other one is during the daytime, and it's looking like, kind of like the fall in terms of the way things are. And we can go basically come down here if the mission would let us, because this mission is kind of scripted. We can stand and look at the Manhattan Bridge from here as well, and we can take a look and see that as well. This tree is blocking this. Man, whoo. I'm not gonna say anything crazy. Okay, I like the world design of the Division. Okay, I'm not gonna badmouth it and say somebody placed a tree and it's blocking my view of the bridge, which, son, you could just change. You could just change where you're looking from, or you can change your perspective. Let's make our way over there. Oops. Let's make our way over there and see if the same thing is here. Is there a kiosk there? Look at one of these kiosks are right here. And if you notice, the scale is different. The gating and barriers are different, right? In this particular depiction over here. So let's climb here, stand, look at Manhattan Bridge. This so-called tree, or one of these trees, are in this particular instance all, dried up from the seasonal change, or at least going through a seasonal change. And let's get back on this particular kiosk or this stand. Okay. I see y'all. I see you guys. You guys did you did it. You did it. So here. Hold on. You see it? Welcome to Tom Clancy's The Division, and welcome to Brooklyn. Welcome back to Brooklyn. A very interesting perspective, a very interesting blending of the things that made The Division special. I don't know how the developers are going to approach their Division 3 game, but I'd hope that they at least, not only based on lore, but based on a lot of other things like the environment and so on and so forth, actually do something of this nature. Also, keep in mind a few things with, both games. FOV slider here in the Division 2, my settings are actually different because the game does have a very significant FOV slider when you actually, think about it, but the Division 1 did not. I hope you guys, got to get a feel for how this looks in terms of the difference. I wish we could actually take a look at both of them, day versus nighttime, and see how both of them actually look. But again, this is when both of them landed for me to make the video live without any edits. And I'm sure you guys probably can maybe, get a good picture of how they look in your brains, okay? Thanks for watching the video. Appreciate you guys so much. Talk to me in the comment section, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.